Hey guys, we are live. Yay. And we are talking Falcon and Winter Soldier in this wonderful world of Disney Plus dropping very cool MCU shows. Unfortunately, on the same day, I have to watch the Zack Snyder Justice League cut, which is over 4 hours long. So this is not going to be a long review, but I'm good. I got my waterproof at the bottom. I got my lightsaber with a battery that's working now. So we're doing great. It has nothing to do with MCU, but it's Star Wars. And we've got stuff to talk about. So let's first discuss the elephant in the room. Because I watched this episode, I believe 45 minutes. I finished it 45 minutes ago. So I have not looked at any reviews. I don't want to look at any reviews. I never do because I don't want to be clouded. I don't want what my opinion is right now to change, and I don't want to be angry. So if you've been following my channel for a while, I'm not a big MCU Captain America fan. I'm just not. I like Captain America in the comics, but I don't like him in the MCU. I like Iron Man in the MCU, but I don't like him in the comics. I don't know, guys. It is what it is. We like who we like. I'm not going to crap on you if you are a Captain America fan. So what I say right now, don't take this personally. This is just my opinion. I don't care that John Walker is in this, that we have Super Patriot or U.S. Agent or Captain America or whatever. I feel like he will only be in this role as like a stepping stone for Sam to finally admit that he wants the shield. He wants to be Captain America. And the reason I think that is because why else would they have Torres in this series who basically becomes the Falcon if we're not going to have Sam eventually become Captain America? And then I know some people will probably say, or it could be Bucky because he was also Captain America, but I think it'll be Sam. The good thing for me about John Walker being in this, that means we may get to have like one of my really side note favorite little teams, and that's the Thunderbolts. So a lot could happen in the MCU. Anything with Amadeus Cho is involved, whether it's anything with Atlas or with the Thunderbolts, I am down for. So having John Walker in this is awesome to me. So I know I'm going to get some people like, no, but he's not the captain. He's imitated. I get it. I understand. But this could be opening up the door for other things. Right now, Sam does not want that shield. He says in the first episode, it feels like it belongs to someone else. He said that at the end of Endgame. It feels like this shield belongs to someone else. Now, my question has always been, and I think I even said this in my Endgame review, like, a year or two ago, please tell me who made this shield again. Because I know he didn't have the shield at the end of Endgame. Or he did, but he didn't have it at the end of the battle with Thanos, because I'm pretty sure that Thanos messed it up. So then did he get one from Howard? I mean, we're still debating his timeline. Was he with Peggy in the parallel universe? Was he in it in the same universe, but time works differently? So many questions I've always had about Endgame. It's just really weird. But I want to know how the shield was even given back to him for him to pass it along to Sam. So these are questions. So let's jump into the episode. So the episode had some very cool scenes. Like the action scenes in this were cool. Both in Bucky's flashback, and of course when we see of Sam trying to basically rescue, I believe it was a general. I wasn't paying attention to titles, lieutenant, general, whatever. Both of those scenes were cool. Red Wing was cool. It makes me feel like I need to have Red Wing in my life. But I really loved the action. I love seeing Falcon battling by himself, because the last time I think I saw him fighting alone was when he fought against Ant-Man, and Ant-Man was messing with him and kind of messed him up a little bit. So this was like a redemption thing, because I love Falcon. So I thought that was a really cool scene. I loved all of his, like from the moment he went on the first plane to him going through the helicopter, loved every moment of it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. What I really was interested in was how Bucky and him, like I wanted to know going in, were they still communicating? Were they not really friends, but did they have some kind of partnership from the beginning? And it's nice to see that Sam has been reaching out to Bucky, and Bucky has been ignoring his texts. I love his therapist. I love that she blackmails him with her notebook, like by basically making him talk about stuff. Now, Bucky's logic is pretty flawed, like how he went over after the councilwoman he helped get in office when he was with Hydra, and how she was abusing her power. That entire scene was amazing to me. I love that. But yeah, they both have struggles in their lives, like outside of course, them both missing their common friend, which was Steve. They're both really struggling to find their place in this world. I mean, being snapped out of existence for 5 years, yeah, a lot has changed and you missed a lot. Sam learns this when he tries to help his sister Sarah save the family business. I thought that was actually handled very well in this episode. I mean, he thought because I was an Avenger and I was the Falcon, I can just walk in anywhere and of course we'll get a loan. You can't get a loan, sis, because technically they don't know you, but they'll definitely give me money. I mean, I helped save the world. Of course they're going to help me. And then he got a reality check when he realized it didn't matter because money talks. And it just, everything about that for me just rang true. I love the fact that the banker said, and quote, "Did you guys get any money? Surely you got money as an Avenger." And then, you hear Falcon saying, "Well, we really just did it by goodwill," whatever. It's like, wait, what? I'm like, which is interesting because I remember in the comic books, Tony, I can't remember if he had a shell company or he made up like a nonprofit, but the Avengers did get a stipend. They got paid. Because I remember Spider-Man got paid because Spider-Man didn't have any money, and he had his wife and his and his Aunt May, I say grandmother, and he had Aunt May to support while he was running around, during Civil War. So, yeah, interesting that Tony and MCU did not pay them anything. So now we know they had nothing, I guess, but they lived in like the Avenger Tower. I guess they didn't need money. They got all their food and their boarding and all that was handled. So I guess they didn't need any money. But yeah, interesting. So he's kind of SOL right now and helping his sister basically keep their business going. She wants to sell their boat. I love his nephews. They're adorable. So it's all these little things about their lives that are pretty cool. So I was really impressed with how they tied all of that in. Back to Bucky though, two things that I thought were interesting. And I'm wondering, so this new girl, Leah, I don't think she's ever been in the comics. I haven't looked her up. I hadn't a chance to look her up. I don't remember there being a waitress that Bucky was ever involved with because all the comics I have with the Winter Soldier have always had him with Natasha. So Black Widow was the love of his life. And so everything he did was for Natasha. Well, we can't do that in the MCU because Natasha is dead. So, I wonder if Leah's going to be the equivalent of the Natasha character because he's already feeling so effing guilty about his friend. I think his first name is Yori. He is, so there was basically he assassinated Yuri's son who worked for a company, and it was basically done because Hydra ordered him to, and his last name was Nasama, or I think it was Nasama or Nasaima, and Yuri is the first name. And so, in therapy, Bucky has been learning a 3-step program of basically how to make, basically redeem yourself, do redemption acts to redeem yourself to other people and make amends for the things that you've done. And Yuri, he's become friends with, and Yuri's just really, really elderly. I don't know what he looks like. He's in his like late 70s or 80s, but he becomes really good friends with him. And we start to learn, that he actually is the father of the guy he keeps dreaming about that he assassinated. And he's trying to check off all the people on his list for people that he's wronged. And he can't seem to bring himself to tell Yuri that he's the one that killed his son, even though that's all Yuri wants is to figure out what actually happened. Because they told him that he was in the wrong place at the wrong time to Yuri. And Yuri he's just not buying it. So he's grieving that messed him up. And essentially it is Bucky's fault, even though he was controlled by Hydra. So it's Hydra's fault. So it's the Bucky through Hydra. And I love that Bucky wants peace. I keep thinking Bucky wants to go back to Wakanda. That's what Bucky wants. He wants to go back to Wakanda. But the whole thing with Leah, like, I just think it's I thought that was a cute thing. I love him talking about his dating profile, saying, I've been on a few apps and they all scare me, because people just keep showing me pictures of tigers. I don't know what I'm looking at. And he's like really showing his age because he's over 100 years old. So he's really showing his age. But yeah, the whole thing with Leah, and even Leah knowing Yuri, because she works at the sushi bar that they like to go to, and on the date themselves that Yuri got for him by basically saying he wants to ask you out. She started bringing up Yuri, and Bucky just walked out. But I know that this girl was in the trailer. I'm pretty sure she was in the trailer for Millisec in the background, and I think she might be in more than one episode. I have to look it up, but it's more than likely she's going to be a reoccurring character. So I really want to see what her role is in this. So the DoD announcing the new Captain America and the president was kind of a slap in Sam's face. I am very curious to see how he reacts to this next week because I have a feeling I know it's going to go downhill. I don't know what is going to bring them together per se, because of course we're dealing with a lot. Like we have Carl in it. Carl Morgenthau is going to be in it. And they're from the Flag Smashers, and I don't know if he is going to be the main villain of this. I have not actually researched anything on Falcon and Winter Soldier because I wanted to be surprised, because WandaVision messed up a lot of people. We all thought has to been. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to take it as it comes. So, but I don't know if that's what's going to bring them together. Something is going to bring these two together, though. More than likely, having Carl as one of the main villains is probably why. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting for me. But I have so many questions about what's happening. Like I already talked about the shield. So I'm already like, how did the shield come back? Who made the shield in the first place? Also, the whole thing with Leah, is Leah going to be the equivalent of what Natasha was to Bucky in the comic books? They mentioned that Steve, I think Taurus said, everyone heard rumors that Steve was taken up to a moon base overlooking Earth. And I'm like, is he talking about the peak? So is he up there with Fury? If that's the case, does that mean we're going to have an elderly version of Captain America in Nick Fury's show? Because we're dealing with Secret Invasion. So that's going to be interesting. It's just weird that he said that and of course, Sam's like, no, I didn't do that. But that doesn't mean that he's not up there. So that's interesting to kind of throw that around, that, we're bringing Sword into this as well. And we do know that all of these series are connected. So I don't know, guys. This is going to be really, really cool. But again, the whole thing with Taurus. So Taurus going after the Flag Smashers and, basically getting his A handed to him by Carl. Like Carl, I think he had a broken orbital, beat the crap out of him, which he's going to be the future Falcon. So, I mean, there's so much pointing to the fact that Sam eventually, by the end of the series, is going to end up being Captain America. I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't be. I think something is going to happen that is going to force him to reevaluate, the shield belonging to someone else. Like seeing, having War Machine, literally come up to you and say, we need another hero. Somebody has to do it. And like whole time he's like, it's not going to be me. He even said in his speech that the world needed new heroes. When he said that, I was initially thinking he was talking about the Young Avengers, because we know we're going to get them. But yeah, that was kind of foreboding, because by him saying that in when they were walking around the Captain America tribute museum or whatever we're calling it, that's when I already knew, because they kept focusing on the shield and the suit. So I'm like, yeah, they're definitely going to have John come in, which is kind of comic accurate. I'm just putting it out there. I'm sure a lot of people are mad. I'm scared to look to see what people think about this. But I wonder if we're going to get like Ultimatum involved in this. Like, are they involved in this series at all? I don't know. There's so many questions that I have about this series. Like, I just need to know who the main villain's going to be. I don't think it's going to just be Carl. I feel like something else is going on. And what I like that this is a 50-minute episode. I don't know if all of them are going to be 50 minutes, because we only got 30 with WandaVision. But I want to know, like, since we're going piece by piece by piece, like even Sam, when he was talking to Taurus, asked a question, and he was like, he didn't want to say what he was thinking. But I mean, I know there's ties in still with Hydra. We learned that in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. There's so many directions that this series can actually go in. And I'm really curious. I am very, very curious as to, because I have a few ideas on who could be the villain. Because again, I have not looked this up. I'm trying to keep myself surprised, so I don't say things that would spoil anybody else if they haven't been reading comics, or spoil anything else if they haven't been following MCU. But I really have a good theory on what's going to happen, and I want to see if it plays out. But just something that Sam said when he was talking just kind of put something in my head, and I'm like, oh, that would be really cool. But yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. Again, most of it was more to do, like, it's more of what's been happening with Bucky and Sam since Endgame, since the snap, since they came back. They they're having to reestablish their lives. And I will say the interaction with Sarah, Sam's sister, between him and his sister was very telling, because she keeps trying to point out, you've been gone for 5 years, and, and it almost seems like she kind of resented him a little bit for being one of the ones to go out and do that. But she shouldn't have done that, because technically, normal people got snapped out of existence. He could have just been one of the normal people had he not been the Falcon. But, he did leave her to deal with and hold down everything. She said that she's widowed, so I'm assuming she was widowed prior to that. But his sister has had to keep the business together, keep her family together. I mean, that's a struggle. That's just, to me, it's that's more of a hero response, trying to keep everything together when everybody around you is gone is just very interesting. But yeah, I have so many questions. Like, are the Batroc going to be, are they going to be the ones that are coming in too? Because they did try to kill somebody. I don't know. But that aerial pursuit fight was cool. That probably stood out the most to me as one of the most badass. I mean, seeing Bucky break into wherever I guess it was a conference, wherever they were, and just start taking people out. That was cool to watch. But seeing, Falcon take on, all of the terrorists, and just like go crazy and strategic and win. That's the Falcon I love. So this is the Falcon that proves to me that he could be Captain America. Because I remember the end of Endgame when he got that shield and Bucky didn't, people lost their minds. And I'm really hoping people are watching this right now and seeing that he is very capable of taking on the mantle of Captain America. And he looks really cool on Marvel Puzzle Quest. So, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I like this episode. So let's see. Hi, Mercenary. How are you? Last time Bucky tried to explain the brainwashing thing to someone, it didn't go well. That's true. I like when she asked why he had a glove on, and he's like, I think it's something like allergies or whatever, something about his hand. But I thought that was really funny, because how do you explain that? Like, how do you explain having this metal arm and, and then even on top of that, how do you explain your past and all the people that you had to kill because you were brainwashed? I never had a problem with Bucky. I always had a problem with Captain America prioritizing Bucky over everything else. I just had an issue with that. That was one of the main reasons I don't like Captain America in the MCU, is that his priorities were always skewed. And I have other reasons that I don't like him. And, I'm not going to say them in here. I made a video called "Is Captain America Mary Sue?" So you can watch it. And I'm sure if you disagree with it, it is what it is. But again, just not really a fan. I think the terrorist group was called LAF, by the way. And the beginning that Falcon was chasing. And I don't know. I just really think that stood out. That entire fight stood out the most as the coolest scene in this whole episode. It just was, from execution to them, like launching him out and just letting him drop, from the chopper all the way to him flying through. So he started in a chopper. I think that was a chopper that might have been a plane. But I just thought it was funny how he started and ended. I thought that was very cool. I love watching the wings act as a shield. I just think it's like flawless execution. That whole scene was beautiful. It was beautiful. That was one of the best MCU fight scenes I've seen. And I'm going to say that right here. That was one of the best ones. And it was Falcon. So I'm like, booyah. See, I like Falcon a lot. I'm not the biggest fangirl of Falcon. But he's earned some clout. He needs to be, I think he would be a very good Captain America. And they need to respect that and stop hating on poor, Sam. Because Sam Wilson can do it. He can do it. He was a soldier. He can do it. It does make me wonder, though, like, so he does his government contracts. I know he was with the Air Force for 6 months, but I wonder what other contracts he's working on. And they really haven't clarified anything with that either. So I'm very curious to see what has Sam been doing this entire time since being back. I know he snapped back. And so, just like Monica Rambeau, he hasn't had a lot of time to get his crap together. But I want to know what the plural of contracts means. And why was he reaching out to Bucky? Was he trying to check on him? Did he have work for him? Did he want to be partners in something? I really want to know what that was about. And Bucky ignoring it is very interesting to me. And why didn't Bucky go back to Wakanda? that was his happy place. Was he really feeling so guilty that he felt like he had to go and make amends to everyone that he's hurt? So that's interesting. There's so much that we're going to learn from this series. So, I mean, it's exciting. It is exciting to me. I kind of hope we get a flashback of Bucky having to readjust to using his new arm, because we didn't see that. I know. And he sleeps it looks like he sleeps on the floor. Like he doesn't sleep in a physical bed. Now he could have just fallen asleep on the floor, but it does look like he's used to roughing it and not being comfortable. And so even it's like when you have somebody who's homeless and then they get a home, sometimes they still like to sleep outside on their porch or whatever, because they're not used to comfort anymore. So, I wonder if that's the kind of mindset that Bucky's in. It's really interesting. It is really interesting. I want to see, because this is my theory on Sam. I'm just thinking that John Walker, he's going to be Captain America. Something's going to happen. He's either going to be a stepping stone for Sam to be Captain America, or more nefarious reasons. Maybe he's going to do something and be nefarious about it. Or he's going to be hurt very badly and then have to give the shield to somebody. And then Sam finally takes it. Because I remember the comic books, he does get hurt pretty bad. And then, by the time Thunderbolt comes around, he's like a warden of a prison. That has been a while. I have to go back. I usually know a lot of story parts based on my favorite characters. I love Amadeus Cho, so I connect the Thunderbolts to him because he was very instrumental. John Walker was very instrumental in starting the Thunderbolts. So, but I think he is going to be the stepping stone for Sam to become Captain America. And then Torres will be basically how Captain America handed the shield to Sam. Maybe Sam will hand over the suit and the wings to Torres, because comic accurate, Torres does become the next Falcon. So there's so much. And if you're setting up the new Falcon, I mean, you're technically setting up, again, a connection to the younger generation of heroes like Young Avengers. So I'm excited. I am excited. This is going to be really cool. The film wise and music wise, they didn't have as many creative choices because WandaVision is a whole other experience, but I love the cinematography in this. I love the music in this. There's so many characters that have such great banter. It's just, it's really, really cool. And again, besides the whole flight simulated scene, I love Red Wing. Red Wing is my buddy. I love Red Wing more than I like Jarvis. Red Wing is cool. Red Wing has no dialogue, but Red Wing doesn't need to have dialogue. Red Wing is just cool. So I'm very, very happy with that. But one other thing I'll say, because I don't want to be in here long, we're at 22 minutes, and I have to go watch 4 hours of Justice League. So, did you guys feel at any time that Bucky in therapy just literally reminded you of two things? The Netflix Daredevil scenes where Matt was like going to church all the time and like confessing how crappy he thought he was. And number two, with Jefferson Pierce in therapy and Black Lightning. That's really interesting. I love the fact that this is just me, that therapy is coming to the forefront on a lot of properties. Even in WandaVision, Wanda was blogging like she was, a therapist in some of the episodes, or talking to a therapist. Therapy is in the forefront because of COVID. We all are losing our minds from being isolated for so long. Like, so much about this rings to a COVID environment. And it made me think that when I was watching the Netflix Defender series, they acted like they were in COVID all the time. So that is just really interesting. That when I was watching those specific parts where they were, or even when you see Sam, when he was looking at, the shield, I think at the beginning of the series, they had that whole, isolated, depressed, I need to be in therapy type vibe. The same vibe I get when I watch Black Lightning and Jefferson when he's in therapy, and when I saw, when Matt Murdock was going to church and talking to the priest. So it's interesting. It is interesting. But yeah, that is my opinion. This show, again, very good. Like I said, they established, we got John Walker as Captain America. They've already got the Flag Smashers. We've got Carl, who could be, quote unquote, the main villain. I doubt he is. I do like the fact that he basically took out a bank, considering if you know anything about the comic books, his dad used to be a banker. So that was really funny. A little homage to that. But I like the Carl's in it, which means we might get Ultimatum. I don't know if we're getting them or not. The name drop for Captain America and him potentially being on the moon base, which it would be interesting if he's working with Sword right now. And of course, Torres being Falcon eventually, signaling that we may actually see Sam become Captain America. But that is my review, guys. Very short, I know. I'm about to go watch again Zack Snyder, his 4-hour and 5-minute rendition of Justice League Uncut. And I will be doing probably a live stream tomorrow at some point, tomorrow afternoon, because we still have our Yashahime last episode review in the morning. But I will be doing a review of that. It will be crazy, I'm sure. And Justice League, the trailer for Justice League Uncut looks good. 4 hours. 4 hours, guys. I can do it, though. It's Friday night. I can do it. But yeah, thanks for hopping in here with me, guys. I hope you have a very good day. And of course, leave me a comment below. Please like this video and subscribe if you have not subscribed, because I remember to say that and I never ask. And I will see you at my next stream, which will be at 9:30 tomorrow with Yashahime. And then probably in the afternoon for Justice League. And I will have my Ruby video out, and I will have my Power Rangers Dino Fury videos out tomorrow as well. So tomorrow's going to be a very busy day for me. So I will catch you guys later. Bye.